Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And on today's show, we'll be discussing many things, including the SEC files an official appeal to the judgment brought forth by Judge Torres. What does this mean for Ripple? Also, some bullish news as a big U.S. exchange lists XRP for the first time. We're also talking about CPI numbers. We're on the rise again. What does that mean for the markets? What does that mean for your money? And finally, we're going to be talking about Fantom. Is Fantom a dead project? Another issue with the multi-chain hack that has affected Fantom directly. And finally, we have very special guest, Magic Internet Money, will be joining us to break down the charts. We haven't had Magic in a while, so I'm excited to have him back on. And I'm also excited to introduce you to your other co-host, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where, unlike other channels who also claim to give you entertainment or edutainment or...
Entutainment?
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
I don't know.
I've heard edutainment. I haven't heard entutainment.
It's different packaged up versions of entertainment. They're not good at it.
No.
We are.
Terrible.
We bring the heat.
We're good.
I was having dinner with Jason, Jason Squires from the chat.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, by the way. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So he invited me over to his home.
Oh, thanks, Jason.
Yeah. No. And so he just moved out of Vegas. And you know what he told me?
What did he tell you?
He said...
David's the best co-host?
He said, no, far from that.
Oh.
He said, when David used to introduce you, he used to introduce you as Big Rob.
Yeah, because you're not big, you're small.
And then he says, now you just introduce him as Robin.
Yes.
He's like, what happened? He's like, do you still go by Big Rob? I was like, I do. He's like, well, why does your co-host not call you that? And I was like, that is a good question. I will bring it up next time I see him. So David.
Because you're not big, bro.
Show me some respect. Put some respect on Big Rob's name. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
little Rob. So I do want to give a shout out to channel sponsor Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you own a business and you want to maximize your networking, your IT, and you want to make sure that your company's buttoned down as far as cybersecurity, there is no better company than Cam's Blue Wire Tech. They're a channel sponsor. They're amazing people, amazing customer service. And well, the president, let's just say, is just an amazing person. You want to visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video.
Did you say the president's an amazing person? You talking about Biden?
The president of Cam's Blue Wire Tech. The president of
Mr.
Cam,
Sleepy.
President,
Snorlax himself, yes.
The president of Cam's Blue Wire Technology is an amazing person. I bet you Robert doesn't even know who the hell I'm talking about.
I do know who you're talking about. Listen here. I want to tell you something. First of all, club limit, 175 on the likes.
178.
175. We get 175 likes. We only got 20 likes. Hold on, where is everybody? Oh, there it is.
That is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. The Davis Desk has spoken. Hit that like button. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, it's hard to preface this video because I really don't know what to say, but some people are just really bad at math and just don't understand market cycles. And so, well, here's Exhibit A. Rocco, pull up my laptop, please. This is a man in 2013 talking about the price of Bitcoin. No, well, let's hear what he has to say.
If it's at the normal rate that it's growing, yeah, okay. 2016, it'll be worth 55 grand. That's a lot of money, right? Yeah, wait till 2017 when it's worth $884,000 per Bitcoin. 2018, January, $14 million per Bitcoin. 2019, $226 million per Bitcoin. And 2020, $3.6 billion per Bitcoin. And I stopped calculating at that point because anything beyond that is, well, there's so many numbers. 57 billion is the next number.
So guys, we're way behind in the market. We should have been at $57 billion per Bitcoin 2 years ago. Robin, what are your thoughts on that?
Off slightly.
Yeah. I think the guy forgot about bear markets. Now, before I show this video, What do you think is going to be uncovered once this tube gets
Hold
pulled
on.
off his head?
What? Why? Hold on.
Heck is that? What is
So he's going to pull the tube off his head. What do you think is going to be underneath?
What is
that
it
tube?
like? Is that like Aquaphor on his head? Like what is that?
That's not the point. What will be revealed once this tube is removed from this man's head?
smoke?
Smoke, okay? Robin?
I don't know why I think there's gonna be a flower on
A flower. Okay.
Can
a
I ask
flower.
you something? It's gonna be somebody with a torch under his mouth. It's like a big bong.
No
or
torch.
something like that.
No torch. No. Robin, you should know what this is once it's uncovered, because you do have a garden in your home, and I don't know. Is that kale? What is,
I was actually pretty close with the flower one.
yeah. What was that?
surprisingly.
Was that kale or what are we talking about?
it
Romaine,
looked
romaine
like-
lettuce?
Yeah, I think it was like a Swiss chard, which is
Oh, Swiss chard, which is kind of like collard greens, right?
yeah.
Kale.
Yeah. Anyways, yes. So we have this is what doctors are learning in the new version of medical school, and well, it says
That's it. Next.
next. Let's check, make sure you have no cancer. Okay, perfect. All right.
Did he just
legs
grab a
are tight.
titty?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right. Let's see. Okay, your head, no migraines. Perfect. All right, you can get going. Now, speaking of doctors, there is a person I found that does need a doctor, and that is a dad who hasn't stopped farting since he ate a ham roll in 2017 and is suing for 200,000 euros. Guys, this is why you do not miss the beginning of the show, because you are going to get your laughs in. We start the show off the right way. Now, life hack, okay? Life hack. We know gamers, especially gamers that stream, they're on their computer for a very long period of time. And, you know, you got 20,000 people watching, as, you know, Dr. Disrespect has. And so you can't really step away to go to the bathroom. Well, there is a life hack and a solution. Let's take a look at what that is. So this is how this man can play Fortnite. He has carved a poop hole in his chair, and the tube is for pee. And, well, now, guys, you don't have to leave the comfort of your chair to go to the bathroom. And finally, on news that UPS drivers will now be making $170,000 a year. Let's you know what? Let's bring magic
Is that
in.
why it costs like $30 to send like the smallest package ever?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, here's what a lot of people are saying. The union agreed to this big jump in price and wages because they know it's going to be the last one, because by 2029, when this new contract ends, we're going to have driverless cars. And so, like, this is apparently like a last hurrah. I don't know if I buy into that or not.
I think that it's them forecasting inflation, right? So we got unions here in Vegas, and so if you were to sign a bargaining agreement on a wage, let's just say you make it $20 an hour, and that's out 8 years. Is $20 an hour going to be enough to survive 8 years from now? Hell no.
So this equates to about $50 an hour for UPS.
That's what I'm
drivers.
saying.
Just to put in perspective.
Is that they're looking at these UPS drivers and they're like, dude, if we're locking in for the next 9 years, so how much is our money gonna be worth in 9 years? Can I survive off of $80,000 in 9 years? Like, no, you barely get by with $80,000 now. So you gotta up it up to 150 grand.
We're on the up and up. And you know, it's crazy that, and I'm not taking anything away from people delivering packages, but we have EMTs that are making $15 an hour. And we're going to have people dropping off packages making $50 an hour. And big shout out to Redman. I know that's what he does. He's an EMT. So the people that have the most important jobs, I feel like some of them are extremely underpaid. Now, before we bring Magic on, a couple more things I want to go over as far as news on Twitter. So we had it was the biggest project on Solana and is now in the top 5 on Ethereum. Utes will be migrating to Ethereum from Polygon. So they went from Solana to Polygon and now from Polygon to Ethereum. If you do remember, they did get a $3 million creator grant from Polygon. They will be returning that. The funds will be redeployed for an NFT ecosystem to grow and empower creators. So does this say more about Polygon, or do you think this project is flip-flopping too much? There's really no sizable volume on Polygon when it comes to NFTs. I don't know.
That seems like a uh-oh move, right?
It is. It is.
That definitely speaks volumes on Polygon. I don't think it's a stain on Utes. Okay. It can't be good, right? It can't be a good look. You can't say that this is positive. I mean, you could say, hey, there's a lot of people that are. It
will be positive down the line because more volume and liquidity will come.
You're obviously taking a punch right now because you're unplugging from an ecosystem that people are using. So you're
and
already
this is your second time doing it.
Yeah, you're going to already offload users. It's the second time using it. It's like the lady that just the lady or the dude, or it's like the person that's got married the third time, and you're looking to date this person. Like, how many times have you been married? Like 3 times. And then you're like, but I love you, girl. I'm like, do you?
Do you really?
What happened the last 2 times, man?
We don't talk about that here. Now, we will get Forrest's take on this because he's pretty big in this ecosystem on Friday. I do want to share this tweet as well. This is from Eric Balchunas, a senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg. Every single one of the top 15 best performing equity ETFs this year are crypto related. Every single one in the top 15 of ETFs that are the best performing are crypto related.
Can I get like some bull sound on that? Bull horn. But yeah, bull yeah, it is. All right. I wanna take a minute to ask the chat what's going on here. Like, first of all, are you not entertained because you haven't hit the like button? Do us a favor, hit the like button. We got 40 likes, over 100 viewers. Why don't y'all like the video? Are you not feeling Big Rob today?
No, they're feeling Little Rob.
Now, and also, we do got a few new people. If you are new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. Crypto Sult Pump and Blockchain Chick to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Now, Rob, we get this question all the time, right? Or we get this objection, and so it's like, ooh, Bitcoin isn't backed by anything. Crypto isn't backed by anything. And here is a prime example, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys exactly what to say to those people next time you hear it. So,
I just had that conversation yesterday.
Did you? Yeah. Okay, well, let's hear what your take was after we watched this video. Okay. So this was... Okay, so let's listen to this.
The euro is backed by the European Central Bank. The dollar is backed by the Federal Reserve. Currencies are backed by the central banks or their governments. Nobody backs the Bitcoin.
Nobody backs the Bitcoin. You know what Bitcoin is backed by? The largest decentralized network of computing power in the world. Mm-hmm. It is backed by scarcity. It is backed by technology. Mm-hmm. It is backed by the people.
That's right.
Not governments who can debase currency. That's what you say to people. What did you say to your person?
So, so the conversation opened up with I just don't understand Bitcoin and it being an imaginary money or it's imaginary, doesn't exist. And then
that's literally what fiat currency is.
And my rebuttal to that literally was, well, how much, like, would your mind be blown if that you realize that everything you just said is the characteristics and property of the money that we use, the fiat? You get the blank stare, and you're like, all right. We just tripled the amount of money that we have in the country since COVID, right? Amount of money in the U.S. tripled, times 3. And then on top of that, banks start lending out money. They're not borrowing that car loan, and they're not borrowing that mortgage loan from the Federal Reserve. And they do have an account there, but a lot of times they just print money by just lending money out. So credit essentially prints, right? Mm. And so you just have an environment where institutions, banks are printing money. And yeah, that's out of thin air, bro. Where does it come from? Magic.
3 years ago, I had a 10-minute long conversation, which was about 9.5 minutes too long, of this guy trying to convince me that the dollar is still backed by gold. Some people you just can't help. But we did
you ask him if he would like to go to the Federal Reserve and trade in some of his money for gold since it's a thing?
I spent too much time trying to explain to him that we were off the gold standard since 1970.
You should have just gave him $20 and be like, hey, do me a favor. Go redeem this for some gold.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you half of it.
He probably would have bought another hookah. Now, I do want to bring on someone that can explain certain things to you, and those are the charts and market structure, and it is none other than magic, internet money. Rocco Dispatchman. Magic, how you doing,
What's
brother?
going on, guys? I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Man, I miss you, man. We haven't had you on here in a long time. Last time you were supposed to come on, we had to reschedule you, so our apologies for that, man. But we
it's
are
all good.
excited to have you, and I want to get your opinion on something before we jump into crypto. So this little meme I showed here, are you thinking about moving away from charts and moving into a UPS brown truck?
I worked for UPS all through college, man. I was a driver at one point, out of college even. So
Are you gonna
I
go
can
back?
tell you, no. It's harder work than people think. That thing doesn't have AC. It gets up well into above what the temperature is outside.
Ooh.
They don't even have air conditioning in the facility itself. A lot of those guys end
Wait,
up getting. There's no air conditioning inside the facilities. So
Even in
if the
places like
trailers-
Vegas and Arizona?
I don't know, maybe there, but out in Kansas, no. So we
Whoa.
called it the doghouse. Basically, it's just a giant tin building. So you just sweat the entire time you're there.
That's
And,
terrible.
yeah, I mean, it's hard work. So when they say they want 45 or whatever an hour they're getting, I'm totally for it, because where I was at in Kansas was even a small facility. Out of the 30 drivers that were there, 3 of them into their 50s had already had knee replacements, because you're constantly
Oh, wow.
going in and out of the stairs of the truck carrying packages. It's hard on the body. So I give those guys every dime that they can get, is how I see it.
Fair enough, man. And give anyone that's of any value, that brings value to the economy, what they want to get. Because we know these CEOs and companies have been enjoying massive profits for quite a long time. I do sound like a Democrat there for a second. Now, Magic. Again, before we jump into the charts, this was interesting. So Bitcoin network now close to 60% sustainable. Will Tesla resume Bitcoin payments? Now, why is this important? We saw what happened to the price of Bitcoin once Tesla said we're going to accept Bitcoin as payment, right? That's when we had I believe it was the very first wave of the all-time high, which we got up to like about 56, 57K, came back down, then we went to 67, 68,000. And if you remember, guys, this was from 2021. Someone tweeted and said, Elon Musk is catching flack again. The CEO saying what we've seen with Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. And this was right after they stopped taking Bitcoin. He said, this is inaccurate. Tesla only sold 10% of holdings when there's confirmation of reasonable around 50% clean energy usage by miners, a positive future trend. Tesla will resume allowing Bitcoin transactions.
Okay.
I'm not here to ask you guys.
Can you retweet that?
Yes. I'm not here to ask you guys. I'll do it in a second. I'm not here to ask you guys whether you think it's going to happen or not. I want to ask you, will it have the same market effect as it did back in 2021?
If they
If they take
start taking
Bitcoin again?
No.
No?
No, the environment was completely different. And so we were in the federal government was printing, handing out money, airdropping checks to civilians. And so people didn't know what to do with their money. And so all you needed was the dumbest headline ever. And it was like, bro, you're at the barbershop, like, Elon Musk just tweeted about Doge, man. It's like, now is the time. Go all in. Take that PPP loan and just YOLO into Doge. Like, that was the environment. At this point, people aren't just sitting on thousands of dollars of cash. They're not sitting at home where they're not allowed to go out shopping or go on vacation, and they're just trapped with a bunch of cash sitting in their bank account. And that was a different environment. So when Tesla said, hey, we're taking Bitcoin as payment, they're like, dude, Elon's in on it. At this point, that Elon effect is worn thin and definitely not going to have that same recourse. Absolutely not. If we were swinging into the next bull market, maybe a different conversation, but right now, just a lack of volume. I don't think that'll kick it off.
Magic, what are your thoughts?
I agree actually a lot with what Rob just said. He kind of took some of the words right out of my mouth. When you think about the environment from 2021 and what the policies that were in place as far as monetary goes, people were more apt to be spending money. And now you see that they're trying to restrict that, and they're doing so successfully. That's why you see inflation's coming down. So yeah, I don't think it'd have the same effect. Now, talk to me after the halving maybe, and maybe we've got rate cuts coming in at that point. Who knows? So we can have that conversation. But I like it. I like the idea of using cryptocurrency in everyday life. I think that's something that people should want to get towards, because our current system's obviously not very efficient. So,
Amen to that. And I agree with both of you. I do agree the Elon effect is starting to lose power. And so, but again, these are things that are going to make headline news. And we know a majority of people get their information from mainstream media. Now that trend is starting to change when it comes to places like Twitter /X and other social media platforms. Now, I do want to look into the markets, but before we do, today's market segment is brought to you by channel sponsor I Trust Capital. I Trust is the company I trust when I want to enjoy my gains tax-free in retirement. You can set up multiple accounts. What I would recommend, and of course this is not financial advice, is a crypto Roth IRA account. What that allows you to do is put in post-tax dollars and pull your money out tax-free and enjoy that in retirement. If you use the link in the description of this video, you will receive a free $100 once you fund your account. Now, crypto, what are we looking at? Bitcoin, $29,412. Magic, this thing has been flat, completely flat. Volatility is down. Volume has been down. The Bollinger Bands are toit like a tiger.
Are there any traders making money on Bitcoin right now? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any gain? Is anybody making gains on this thing?
I've been taking some off the shorts on the most recent price action. So, but just paying myself and then keeping my longs from the lows open because there's no reason to close those yet. I don't see the trend being over just yet. So,
okay. Well, what is the market structure saying for Bitcoin? And I don't know if you agree with the sentiment, Magic, but you know, having those Bollinger Bands so tight and volatility so low, eventually the thing's going to break out. Is it going to break out to the upside or downside? That's what we got to try to figure out.
So I certainly agree with market structure right now. There's really only a couple key levels that a person needs on the chart. And this is your average of price right here. You guys know I bring those on every time. They're just pivots. This is the Q3. So this is the average of price from essentially this entire section and then extrapolated out into a horizontal line. And you can see that's where you're basing right now. We have done something that is somewhat bullish and somewhat bearish in this little range. The number one thing we have done is I usually track things based on time, monthly in this regard. So what we're looking at is a regression, and this has got my own like little personal settings on it. I use them on like the monthly and quarterly to track what trends look like. I do it with traditional markets as well. And this is July. So it ended about right here. You can see it caught our low, our high. The EQ is very respected, and now we're breaking out. So what we need to see is price realistically getting back above about 30,002, 30,300, this one line right here. And you can look at this as a pseudo breakout at that point. And you would look to fill in this, which is a giant single print, meaning that there's really nothing there. It's a big imbalance in the market. So it will fill fairly quickly. And I'd start looking for 31K, probably a little higher at that point. I would be open to a range trade up here around 31, but you know, with as much consolidation as we've done, it's tough to ignore that aspect of it with volatility being so low. Now, in terms of market structure, very, very easy, right? So you have some high time frame patterns at play, like you have a harmonic at play. What you're looking for on this is the 50% mark. And that 50% mark did come in very, very nicely, basically, just beneath us right here. So you can see it's sitting just above that mark. And you're looking for this B leg, so to speak, which is like your breakout point when it expanded to the upside. And what this pattern does is, if you guys are familiar with megaphone patterns, it's essentially a Fibonacci version of that, where you have specific reactions you're expecting based on convergence. So when we look at this as a very simple way like this, the most important level, anytime you have an expanding, megaphone like this or wedge, however you want to look at it, is the 50% mark. So you would literally just look at this as so, and then you would see that you even have a second one coming in right here with the top line potentially. So again, that 50% mark becomes very, very important from high to low. And if you were just to pull that like as a channel, you could then start to make this a little bit cleaner for yourself. You could just say, all right, these are the levels I'm interested in trading right here, like so. If I can get my mouse to work, there we go. There's our EQ. We get above, we're targeting the high of the range. And the very same thing can be done with the overall like low right here to the high even. And so if we break down below this like 28K support, I mean, everyone's kind of got their targets. For me, the big one is going to be 26,142.50. And I believe there's a couple interesting levels just beneath it at like 25.9, but this would be the area that I'm most interested in. Should we break that down? Now, what we did time-wise for me is that this correction is kind of right on time. I started preaching about the middle of July back in February because we measure volatility based on prior volatility a lot of times. So it takes the exact same amount of time for the market to expand in one direction and then recoup the opposite way. So if you were looking at this in terms of, how long did it take us to make our high from 2022 to the current low out in November? The exact same amount of time is from our low at the beginning of the year all the way out to here now. So when you look at that, you say, wow, well, we've put in a really, really nice rally, and it's as long as price went down in 2022 is now how long it's gone up into 2023. Can that continue, or is a correction necessary? So to me, the trend really isn't in jeopardy, and I think this is a kind of a wide agreement until you're back inside this old range below about 24.7. So for me, I'm just looking for opportunities. This 28.5-ish level has been the opportunity at hand thus far. However, I do believe in taking profits, because off of this, you did something very, very similar to what you did on the macro time frame. You put in another bearish pattern at resistance, and now you need to see if it's going to be invalidated. So essentially what you had was a very same level like so. And you could very easily say, okay, we've taken the lows. Will we take the highs? We're looking to see if we get that high taken. And if so, is that a short opportunity, or will it, invalidate this idea, change behavior, and then we go to the upside, right? So that's how we're trading it. I've been shorting these levels based on just like simple horizontals, treating this 50% as just a benchmark, saying, okay, for right now, we have a nice range right here. And that's very boring, but if you're patient, you can make pretty good money here. And yeah, look at the weekly time frame. You can see that this is why you wanted to be targeting this region of the chart. Okay, so you've got weekly closures here as resistance. And then if you go out to the monthly and even the quarterly, you can see that this is going to be a monthly closure, but also going out to the quarterly, this is your quarterly open. So you'd want to see about 30,460 to 30,231, this region on the chart. If it's claimed, well, things start to look pretty good. You would really start to be looking upwards quite a bit. So that's how I'm viewing things. This was a short for me. I have taken some profits. The key level to the downside is going to be the Monday low and Monday high. Those are the two levels I would be paying the most attention to right now, is these right here. And I'll put these on that other chart because this one's a little messy. Like so. Okay, so this is your Monday low and high right here. You can see you've back tested it. You find acceptance below this, and I would start really looking for it to rotate and probably try to make a new low overall in the trend. So that's kind of your warning shot, so to speak, is to lose about 29.3. Anything underneath that, I'm really looking to see if we just come down and back test, 28.5 almost.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
cool,
sorry
man.
for the winded response.
No, you're good. I like how you talk through it and explain why. People can draw 500 lines, but if people don't understand why these lines are drawn or what levels you're looking for, I think it's important to talk through that. Magic, I want to ask you for one more chart. Fantom,
Sure.
FTM.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some news of one of their biggest DEXs essentially packing it in. Fantom took a big hit from that multi-chain hack that happened. TVL has been steadily dropping. Andre Cronje in and out. I'm leaving. I'm back. I'm leaving. I'm back. What does the Fantom chart say? Is Fantom to you an investable project as far as timing right now, or is there more downside to come? What are your thoughts?
So back in March of 22, when this thing was starting to shit the bed, for lack of a better term, this was actually a conversation our general public chat in the Discord was, would you buy Fantom right here? And I was like, I'm not touching Fantom until it's usually, I think it was about 29 cents is what I was looking for. And it ended up even, going further than that. So I didn't buy any Fantom. I'm probably not going to invest in it. This isn't my cup of tea. Doesn't mean, you can't make money on it. Just looking at the structure alone, you're certainly trying to form a base right here. So if we went out to, again, you guys know how I like the yearly chart, not a good looking yearly candle right out the gate. If you're just being upfront with yourself, if you lose the yearly open here, or potentially the 2022 low, I think that would be the more important level there. So marked both of those earlier, these two here, this little zone, there's really not a lot below you. When you look at this, you're really just basing and you're
what price is that, Magic?
16.42 cents and 19.99, that little 3-cent gap right here. That would be must hold critical support if this is going to base. You also did, if you look at the average of price for the year, it's well above us, meaning that we're trending below it super hard. And when the average of price for the prior session is really far above or below you, it just means that you've trended very, very hard the opposite direction, meaning that people just are not interested in trying to auction this thing back to that price. It's just a good indicator. Now, when you look at the 2023 range, you can see that you've also been denied at this range. So there is an opportunity here, however, and ironically, it was for a long position, and you would be looking to come up and potentially back test this range again. The key thing about this is that you could potentially come down into the support region. So it's just, important to know that you've got invalidation. So when you look at the structure, it's a very clear M. However, the expansions are what you want to be looking at. So when you're looking at this, you want to be gauging this based on your fibs. You've got a gold pocket retrace and then straight down into a really nice, this is like an expanded Gartley. It's in his third volume series, which is just, and again, another Fibonacci pattern where you get specific reactions off of a 1618 expansion and an 886 retrace. So when you get those collectively, you're looking for it to reverse right there. So the key level for upside, it does clear and hang on to about 25.72 cents. I would start to look at this as potentially coming all the way back to 30.78 cents, maybe a little higher. I bet I think I looked for liquidity earlier. You've got quite a bit up here just at the top of this idea. So essentially, this is your Q3 average. It would be trying to put you back in position to back test the quarterly average, which isn't really bearish or bullish. It's just kind of there. And they hit at specific rates. So you know that it's probably a decent idea. And you can see that you're 1-to-1, meaning that the expansion of this leg, if we were to extrapolate it from the completion pattern, comes in here as well, making this pretty good resistance right here, and that it could set up a larger range. That would be the hope if I were bullish on this, is I would want a range between here, and I really wouldn't want to lose this box down here. I'd want to see something like this, and I'd want to see it going sideways, putting in good market structure. If you can break back above and really hold this like 32, 33 cent range, you've got a shot at hitting 45 cents. You have an NPOC up here. It's also your yearly average or your yearly point of control coming in. So that is subject to change, though, as we still have 4 months left. So, that yearly point of control certainly might change. So the setup is bullish for FTM right now. However, I would make sure I have a stop loss. You've got invalidations here because if it goes below this, it's going to get pretty nasty. You're basically in price discovery to the downside. And I would just expect you to fully rotate this entire structure down to like a penny. That would be pretty ugly. So, this one looks like it wants to move up, and I would be targeting again about 30.78 cents, confirmation above 25.72.
Awesome, man. Magic, are there any trade setups you're looking at or you're looking to enter? Of course, if you don't mind sharing with us.
Yeah, definitely. The one that I've been watching the most here is Solana and QNT recently. So Solana has been a really easy chart. This is one of the first times I came on your guys' show was you guys asked me if Solana had like a really crazy rally, where would it go? And I said 32.61 is what I'd look for. And you ended up getting it. And so what I'm looking for now is potentially a back test into the gold pocket. And that's, again, all predicated off what I call the fund folders.
Hey Magic.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, for those that don't know what, that term gets thrown around a lot. Can you explain to people what golden pocket is?
Yeah, it's the 618 and 65 right here. So it's a Fibonacci retrace. So you're just going from left to right. You always go left to right. If you're not doing left to right, you're doing it wrong. So left to right, and you're looking for the 618 and 65. It is the inverse correlation of the 382, which is considered a golden fib as well. So that's what you're looking for right here. And you can see it comes in at your quarterly average from Q1 and the 6-month average from the second half of the year, for the second half of the year here. So this would be a pretty good spot for me to put on some risk potentially. If it gets back above $25, though, I may not get that opportunity. But for me, I'm always going to wait and see if my setups play out, because those are where I feel like I have the best odds that are in my favor. And if I don't have that, I'm going to move on with my life. Awesome. In terms of QNT was a short opportunity recently. Some people in the group did take advantage of it. But you are coming into really, really important areas on the chart. So this is another shark pattern, just like we looked at, where you take the low right here. You can see you swung fail it. You've swung failed a high. Now you're targeting usually the 50% mark, because it's a broadening wedge, so to speak. And then you're looking to see, is there demand? And for us, it was really just coming down to the July range. You had an NPOC down here. So it made for a really good opportunity for that, to backfill the NPOC off of the back of a bearish pattern. And if you just looked at this again, high time frame, right? We're talking about the regression. What's my trend right now? You can see that you've basically been in a downtrend all of 2023. And this is your current trend, came all the way to the top of your trend. You have a bearish setup, might as well be looking to trade it. So that's what I did. And realistically looking to see if we come down and take this C leg around $99 and touch below 100. And if I get that, I'll be interested in maybe trading this level again. However, I always want to, this is a high time frame idea. And I always say idea only because I don't want people to fall in love with it. But if my high time frame ideas for QNT have been pretty good, I'm looking for this to potentially do something that would not make people, well, either make you really happy or it's going to make you really upset, depending on your positioning. Below this box, really, there is no support. You'd be looking down to $63 and $53. And this is a coin with a ton of community support. So that's why I say it's either going to make you really happy or, because you get to buy more down here, or it's going to make you really upset because you were buying this entire rally up, right? I'm looking at a giant idea that technically is already kind of valid, but it would look something like this, right? And so everybody wants to know, when would you be going back to like all-time highs? You've essentially set in a really great mid-range right here. Now you're looking to come back down, retest support at the bottom of the range, and then see if you can't get that expansion above that like $200 level into, for me, right around 357, and would it go to all-time highs? Probably at that time, because the timing on that does have you out in 2025. Right. But I'm looking for that opportunity potentially down here for a higher low. And if we get that, I definitely want to be, adding to positions there and trying to take advantage of like long-term investments. When people say I only trade Bitcoin, I do invest in altcoins. I'm just very selective on when I'm willing to put my money into them. Very, very cautious with it because I've been around for a few cycles now and I've just kind of seen what can happen. And altcoins it's unlimited possibilities to the upside and unlimited possibilities to the downside. No matter what, that's just how you have to look at it. So
awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for that, Magic. Magic, if people want more Magic Internet Money, they want more of your charts and your insight, where can they find you?
I'm most active on Twitter. I haven't done a very good job with YouTube. I usually just kind of do the 1 or 2 shows a week. People have me on, do some TA, but really active in our Discord. Even if you're in the free version of it, you just go to leadingcrypto.io. It'll get you in the Discord, and you can interact with me in the general chat, anything like that. I'm happy to answer questions and help you out. We are trying to launch back up. Max has been on holiday. The guy I was going to have on with you recently. He's been on holiday in the UK. He's back in Dubai, though, and at a station. So we're going to probably fire up some streams here this next week. So you can always find me on YouTube and, interact with us there as well. If you put in requests, I'm usually pretty good about getting to them. So I'll usually chart it. It's what I do all day long.
Yeah, and you're very good at it as well. And guys, we have Magic's X. It's Twitter. I'm sorry, guys. It's Twitter.
It is Twitter.
You're gonna have to let it go, man.
No, I'm not letting it go. We got it up there.
You still call?
Go follow.
You remember Puff Daddy? Like at some point, you had to switch over to P Diddy, right?
Sure.
And people didn't like Puff Daddy at first. I mean P Diddy, but you had to switch over. So.
Yeah. And guys, we also put a link to Magic's Twitter profile in the chat. Make sure to go follow him. Magic, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on, my friend, and we look forward to bringing you on sooner than the gap we had this time. And so have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Take care, brother.
Take care.
All right. Robin, you've been awfully quiet. Do something.
What do you want me to dance?
And now we have the pirouette.
All right.
by Robin.
Hey, I found a hammer. Let's go.
Do something. Sing. Jump.
All
You
right.
know what I mean.
I don't. That's why I'm asking. Like, what do you mean? You
Butcher some names, yell at people for
okay,
the
there we go.
likes.
Beautiful. Sure, for sure. Well, yes. Yeah. I haven't really seen too many new people today. We got Halabala, and then
There we go. The show just started.
King Peasant as well, and then that's all I saw. Oh, L. Wright Sr. as well.
Yeah.
So, to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If you are new here, say hello so we can jump an hola back at you. And we are slacking and on the likes. What's going on here? How many likes we got, Rocco?
Not enough. 102.
103.
103.
104.
Okay. So when we get to 175, doesn't seem like
105 now.
No,
106.
I don't think we're gonna get to the 175.
Wow, you have no faith in our community?
I have faith in Lisa. She said, I'm new. Hola!
Hi, Lisa. Welcome. All right. Let's talk XRP, Ripple, interlocutory, and appeal. We're going to combine all those things and talk about it. That was a terrible segue, but either way, it was a segue. Now, everyone said the SEC, are they going to appeal? Are they going to appeal? Well, the answer to that is yes. They have officially appealed in what's called an interlocutory appeal. Now, this is not a traditional appeal as the court case wasn't decided, right? Still going to trial next year. They're trying to set up the dates. So what Ripple is doing is they're appealing the judgment before it goes to trial. So this is from Meta Lawman, which, by the way, guys, we're not lawyers here. None of us are, but this man is. And so go follow him. He's been following the Ripple case for quite a while, among other things as well, at Meta Lawman. So here's his analysis. This post will address what I see as Ripple's options in responding to the SEC's request for the appeal. Option 1, oppose the motion to certify the appeal. Ripple could say that the decision is obviously correct, so the appeal, just to confirm the fact, would be a waste of time. Option 2 would be to agree with the appeal and that it is appropriate. While unlikely, this response would actually not shock me. Appeals are a virtual certainty in this case. The only question then is whether the appeals process will start now or a year from now after the trial of Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. Option 2A, agree that the appeal is appropriate, but add that the one claim that the SEC won, which was the institutional sales, should also be certified for a cross appeal by Ripple. The logic for option 2A being that if the Second Circuit reversed the SEC's win on the institutional claims, then everybody is saved the trouble of going through a penalty phase, and there would be no need for a trial on aiding and abetting the institutional sales. So essentially saying they can either say, sure, appeal it, or they can say, sure, appeal it, but then let us appeal the win on the SEC side, which was on the institutional sales. What do I think Ripple will do? I think Ripple will go for option 1, which is to oppose the request. And so it kind of breaks down the reasons why they would do that. So if you want to read this in detail, go and follow Meta Lawman. Now, Rob, I don't think this is a surprise to you. It's not a surprise to me. This thing is far from over. Summary judgment does not mean Ripple has won the case. Are you surprised there hasn't been more talks of maybe a settlement?
I think that any talks in a settlement are being done behind closed doors, and it's not in anybody's best interest.
So you don't think
the
we would have?
SEC, not Ripple Labs. It's not in anybody's interest to talk about that. And if you talk about it, you lose any positioning that you have as far as leverage to say, hey, maybe the SEC is not going to say they're settling or talking, because then at that point it kind of concedes the fact that, hey, maybe they're not guilty of what they're claiming. And also on the other side of the other foot, you have Ripple Labs. They're not going to say they're settling because they're actively gaining support from the community by fighting this out. But are they talking about settlement behind? Of course. The lawyers are definitely sitting down in a room and saying, hey, make all this go away. And so we're just not going to hear about it. Now, to your other question, am I surprised of the appeal? No, not at all.
I was going to say, we're both not surprised.
No. And I don't know. I think it's...
I mean, everyone saw this coming.
Yeah,
right?
it's expected.
You're not surprised. No, I mean, you watching. You can't be surprised the SEC appealed the judgment, right?
No.
But we know these cases get dragged out in court, and as I mentioned again, the judge is looking to set up a time for the trial next year. Before it gets to that, it'll be interesting to see, though, if the SEC appeals and the judge upholds the judgment decision. At that point, will the SEC be essentially backed into a corner and say, fine, let's try to work out a deal, a settlement.
Well, I'll say
not
that
go to trial.
Just looking at appeals in general, they, by percentage wise, are unsuccessful, right? The appeal is not a new trial, right? Or is not a new case. It's basically
just saying, hey, different judge, take a look at this. So what do you think?
No, well, it's not even that. It's not even that. An appeal is not a different perspective. The appeal is to say, hey, was this court case fair? Was there any conflicts of interest? Was there anything that was unconstitutional? Was there any biases? Was there information that was left out? It's basically saying, hey, did they do the court case right? And that's it. Like if all of a sudden I get convicted of a crime and the prosecutor left out the fact that there is DNA evidence that could greatly sway the decision either way, and they decided not to admit it, you can appeal and be like, hey, they were withholding information. Boom, that would be that would be a reason to grant an appeal, right? And so if the court case in itself is not missing any information, if they're not doing something unethical, there's not any new evidence that pops up that was held from being submitted, then there's really no reason that an appeal would change the verdict, right? It would have to be something was wrong with the case, right?
So here, because again, we're both of us are not lawyers. An appeal is a review of the trial court's application of the law. The party who files an appeal must show that the trial court made a legal error that affected the decision in this case.
Yeah, so it's not another opinion, right? It's not like, hey, this judge thought this judge. No, it's like, did you mess up? That's literally all it is. Did the court mess up the court case in some way, and that impacted the decision? And so, I don't know. There you go.
We do have some bullish news for XRP. Once the summary judgment was passed down, Coinbase immediately relisted. Kraken almost immediately relisted. There was one U.S. exchange that put out a tweet that said, we're looking into it, but nothing was done until now, and that is Gemini, as they have officially listed XRP. I do want to add, it is not available for trading yet, but Gemini has announced that it will support the XRP blockchain. The exchange has open token deposits, with trading expected to start soon. Soon as possible.
Coinbase, you had Coinbase relist, and then
Kraken,
yeah. Now Gemini. What do you think about the? I know I wasn't here yesterday for that, but what do you think about the Coinbase blockchain going live on Ethereum?
Great. I think it's great. I think Coinbase is showing that, hey, if you are a centralized exchange and you want to launch a layer 2 and keep people in your ecosystem, that's great. You don't need a token, right? Because, you can manipulate it. And
I've been saying that for the longest time. Like, if you want to, especially if it's on the Ethereum blockchain, like you don't need to create your own token. You can power your ecosystem with the native token. And I think that a lot of companies just make it seem like it's a must, right? Oh, we have optimism. It won't work without our token. Well, you don't have to make it that way.
Right.
Right. But the perception is that if there's a new project, it has to have a token with it. And I don't think that is necessary. And if anything, it can be detrimental to the project, because if the tokens aren't allocated correctly, if there's some lockup that messes it up. Anyways, I did want to just kind of show that Coinbase is out here advertising. So this is on their feed here. You have Coinbase. So on-chain summer, new era. And so this is not any project we're affiliated with, but just wanted to show you kind of the direction that Coinbase is going, because in the past they hadn't really advertised. And I think this is something we're going to see a lot more of, is because they have their own blockchain and it runs on Ethereum, they're going to start showcasing more projects. I think this is something to keep an eye out for. So this is some NFT project. I was kind of looking it over, but kind of cool art here. You got this guy dropping an ETH flag on the Federal Reserve. And
that's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's I just wanted to point out that I think that we're going to get a lot more advertising from Coinbase, and they've been really quiet on that side, right? Coinbase is just, hey, we're listing this token. Hey, we're fighting the SEC. And that's really been their press or media that we've seen.
Yeah, all we're seeing is lawsuit, this file, this. And
but now I think they're turning the corner to be a little bit more friendly. They got their chain. I don't know. That's cool. I'm vibing. I'm vibing with Coinbase right now.
I heard they got 2 chains, like the rapper. I had a bad experience with 2 chains one time.
Can you please, Rocco? Thank you.
So let's move on to the other big piece of news, and that is CPI. What does CPI stand for? I'm not sure. Just kidding. Of course I know CPI stands for. U.S. inflation rate, CPI, year-over-year change. So here is what it looked like. So we topped out at 9.1%. This was back in June of 2022. Now, guys, remember CPI, a few things changed this year. Instead of going back 2 years, they only went back 1 year. And the way you got to understand is how they measure CPI is every year the basket of goods changes. And so why does this lead to erroneous numbers? Well, because if last year people were buying steaks and lobster and shrimp and chicken, and then it started getting more expensive, people will stop buying that. And in the next year's basket of goods, those items that people stopped buying because the price got so high are no longer counted in the CPI. And that is what happens. It used to be a two-year average. This is the first year they went to a one-year average. So we went all the way from 9.1. We started creeping down, and we bottomed out, it seems like, last month, year over year, at 3%, and we are ticking back up. You know what? And you know what I heard on media news today? Is it's a good thing, because we were forecasted. No, seriously. I'm being dead serious. They were saying we were forecasted to go up 0.3. We only went up 0.2. We're still going up. And we've had this conversation months ago. 2% is the target. I think that target's going to move up to 2.5 to 3%. That's just my personal opinion. To give a breakdown of the numbers, is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. CPI headline 3.2. The food is up. Energy is down. Total 12.5%. If we take all items less food and energy, which is the core, this actually came down. I believe it was from 4.8 or 4.9 to 4.7 year over year. Used cars and trucks are down 5.6%. New vehicles are up 3.5%. And that's pretty much it. Maintenance and repair of motor vehicles is up. And then insurance, car insurance, up 18% year over year.
Yeah,
my car insurance went up.
I don't know about my car insurance because I got that thing on auto pay, so it probably went up and I didn't notice. But my house went up a good $80.
Oh, your home
homeowner's
insurance? Yeah, mine went up too. Now that I think about it, actually.
Yeah, that one went up. So I know the insurance premiums and are on the move as well. Now you were talking about baskets of goods, lobster, shrimp. What do you think of the baskets of goods are right now? You think ramen noodles are in there? Easy Mac? Like what do you think?
People started buying.
Perhaps it won't be long. It won't be long until they have little tents in there. Like, hey, housing and shelter is now replaced with fold-up, pop-up tents for the streets of Los Angeles, and also, I don't know, I think that's
now, Rob. Let me ask you this question: 3.2. Fed doesn't meet in August; they meet in September. You think they're going to rate hike again? No.
What's the CME say?
Well, before we get to that, I have it pulled up. I want to get your.
Oh, you have it pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulled up. So you don't think so?
No, I think
why
we
not?
just pause.
Okay.
Because we are in a situation where the leverage is starting to really stress the system. Not that it hasn't before, but I think that with the banks being as shaky as they are, with the economy, I think they're going to pause, man.
Well, the CME agrees with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at 90.5% of a pause, and only 9.5% think we're going to get another 25 basis point rate hike. As far as getting 0% of people believe there's going to be a cut. And I believe if I go here. So by the end of the year, a majority of people believe we're going to stay right where we're at. 51% of people, only less than 30% of people believe we're going to get a rate cut by the end of the year. And 15% think we're going to get another minimum of 25 basis point rate hike.
I say we stay no rate cuts or hikes till the end of the year. I agree. However, that black swan global event, that is when the Fed has cut rates in the past. I don't see them dramatically cutting rates for any reason unless the CPI flips, right? And when I say flips, I'm talking about that 2% number. So if CPI drops down to like 1.4 or something weird like that, it is a lagging indicator. It is a measure of a year over year. So with the recessionary environment that we're in right now, it is on the table. I do think it's unlikely, but it is a possibility that, say, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, we're looking at a 1% or sub 2% CPI number. And if that's the case, I could see them cutting. I don't think they would cut drastically or dramatically, but I think it would give them a comfortable excuse to ratchet down the federal interest rates. But I do think that in all likelihood, we'll just stay at where we're at. And then hopefully there's no massive global event, any kind of war or some new strain of the flu. And
okay, so what do you think about this, Robin? You think they're going to move the goalpost from 2% to 2.5%, 3%?
I think it'll stay. I think it'll be back down to 2.
You said last year you think we'll be under 2% by June.
Yeah, it was the exact same reason that I was saying before, where it's a measure year over year. But they've successfully made it feel good to be at 3%, right? Over the number, they made it feel good, right?
There was this funny meme tweet I saw. Yay, everyone's cheering. Yay, we're only at 3% money.
Yeah,
there is the scary part is in China. We talked about this on the Twitter Spaces on Tuesday. China's exports are down 14%, which is not good, and they're in deflation, right? So you have disinflation and you have deflation, two big different things. Deflation is bad because that means people aren't buying.
At 3.5%, just put this in perspective. At 3.5%, you lose half of your purchasing power in 30 years, right? So the price of a house should double in 30 years with 3.5% CPI or inflation. And remember, these numbers are usually padded, right? So CPI is probably more realistic, not 3.5. It's probably closer to 4 or 5%, and that's the number that the economy is throwing out there. But I don't know.
Just think about it. Like, are you spending more money on your bills and groceries and everything, or are you spending less money?
I'm telling you,
it's simple.
3.5% is a fraud, and they've pulled the veil over your eyes and make it seem like they're doing a good job, right? And I'm telling you, at 3.5%, let's just say you had a baby today, and that baby is gonna go to school and you're gonna start setting money aside. Say,
leave that baby alone.
And let's just say, hey, the average cost of school, say, is $60,000, right? Then let's say that your kid decides to go to school, take a few years off, and after graduating high school to go to college, say they go to college when they're 30. At the rate at 3.5%, it is going to cost not $60,000, but $120,000 for school at the rate that we're at. And so this 2%, this 3%, it's just a comfortable theft. Right?
Erroneous.
It's a theft that makes it not so obvious. And so when the number stretches up to 8 and 9%, they're like, oh, hey, they're noticing that we're stealing money from them. Like,
they're starting to notice, guys.
We got to bring this number down, guys. They're not bringing it down because they care about you. They don't care about you. They're bringing it down because the people are like, hey, man, I think something's broken over here. Like, no, transitory. No, don't worry. It'll be back. Don't worry. We'll be back to that comfortable, slowly lose your money over 30 years way.
You know, if inflation wouldn't, I don't want to say inflation would be fine, but if wages kept up with inflation, it wouldn't really make a difference. But that's not happening. That's the problem. Let's move on from inflation to deflation of the Fantom ecosystem as another Fantom project winds down, citing the multi-chain exposure. Spirit Swap, which is a DEX on Fantom, will wind down operations starting September 1st, citing exposure to the troubled Chinese cross-chain protocol multi-chain. Developers revealed that the multi-chain hack left Spirit Swap's entire treasury drained and therefore, quote, without the means to finance essential aspects of our operation, including operational costs, salaries, and marketing. The team said is looking for a team to take over the DEX by September 1st, and if that doesn't happen, they will completely cease operations. Its total value locked reached an all-time high of $374 million in January, but now is down to under $3 million. From 374 to under $3 million, single digits. Now, I do also want to mention, with interest rates going high, borrowing becoming more expensive, and liquidity being drawn from the markets, it is harder to raise money, including for crypto projects. I would even argue it's more hard for crypto projects to raise money. So it's like battle of attrition, right? Who's smart with their money? Who's got a war chest? Who can kind of handle the waves, the coast? Who can stay steady until the markets start to come back as far as liquidity?
Does Fantom bounce back?
Well, that's the question I was going to ask you. And I do want to show you this, Rob. This is from DeFi Llama. Fantom's TVL in their entire ecosystem is down 54% over the last 30 days, the most out of any. And let's just go down the line here. The next highest as far as TVL being drawn out, I mean, I'm at number 70, and there's still not one more than 50%. Still, and I'm getting close to 100. So Fantom is taking a beating. We know Andre Cronje, known as the godfather of blockchain and crypto, he left and then he's coming back, so he's still in. So I want to ask you the question. Is Fantom a dead project?
They're done, bro.
You think they're done?
I think they're done.
Wow, okay.
And it's because of competition. Fantom wasn't ever the... They rallied, the price rallied, but they weren't ever the go-to DeFi, right? And now they were emerging. They were emerging. They had a lot of potential, a lot of people building. There was a surge in their TVL, a surge in their community, a surge in their adoption. But that was pretty.
I mean, look at this, dude. Just a complete flatline.
Dude, it's
just a complete flatline of TVL. And I understand, guys.
And the thing is, there's so much competition and there was so much money that got drained. And like,
I'm just pulling up other chains
in my personal opinion, like, why would you leverage the risk on that, right? And I know with more risk, you're going to get more return, but I just look at it like you have projects that have similar upside potential, right? You know, where they're in a certain market cap region, right? They say they're at $500 million, right? What's the total market cap of Fantom? I'm just
market cap of Fantom?
Yeah, I'm just throwing a number out there. I said $500 million. I don't know. I would assume it's somewhere in that range. But anyways, there's similar projects that are in the same range that don't have the stain that is a big drain.
670 million.
So 600. So yeah, a little over $500 million. And so there are other projects out there that are in the same category as far as the size of their market cap. And a lot of times in the most simple way to say, hey, what could I get for a return on investment? If I put 1,000 in now, what are the potential upsides? Market cap is probably the best measure of that, how much money is in the ecosystem per token if you were to buy it. And other projects, very similar, without the stain, right?
But they don't have Andre Cronje. Some argue that. Some argue, hey, he's the guy. He's okay. Literally his nickname is the Godfather.
Okay, new money, new crypto money is gonna be required. New retail is gonna be required.
And you don't think they care
for the next bull run, right?
Correct.
There's no reason that anybody that doesn't know anything about crypto right now is going to be like, hey, this guy, Andre Cronje, like, we talk about it because we understand the ecosystem. We understand this guy's resume.
The average person is not going to give two shits.
Yes. People are going to pile in to projects that they think have potential that catch buzz. And why does something catch buzz? Because the degens talk about it ad nauseum. And I just don't see a reason to talk about Fantom. And Andre Cronje, he is an established man with credibility. However, you know what? That established man and his team decided to leverage projects that were not properly vetted for whatever way you want to look at it. They went all in without hedging and putting too much reliability on a third party, and they fucked up. And they're paying the price now. And so they have a stain on their reputation. And for me, if I'm going to put some money into an investment and I'm looking for a return off of a $500 million market cap valuation company, I'm not going to pick one with that stain. I'm not going to pick Harmony. Harmony has the same kind of exploit, or the same style of exploit where they lost a crap ton of money and they lost the trust of their community. It's like once you lose the trust, then like for me, if somebody comes up and they blatantly lie to my face or they promise something that they don't deliver, I no longer have confidence in you. Even if you turn around, even if you roll back in to my life again and you're like, hey, look what I've done. Look how successful I am. Do you want to partner with me? I'm like, no, I don't. Because we had an agreement, we had a trust, you broke that trust, and now simply because it's 3 years later, you're trying to circle back around and get my interest again, you're already messed up. You lost the trust. It is broken. We can no longer have a relationship. Best of luck to you. That's how I feel with Fantom. If I was in the ecosystem, if I got burned, okay, you know what? Glad you fixed everything. I'm glad you buttoned back up, but you lost my trust and I'm not with it. But that's how I look at it. Now, you can also always cite Ethereum, where they had the ETH Classic hack or whatever it was, and then they forked the chain. You had Ethereum Classic. That was 2016.
hack.
Yeah. Now so it's not always a death sentence. However, when that happened to Ethereum, there was not 70 other Ethereum layer 1s. And if there was 70, 80, 1,000 other smart contract platforms that did the same thing as Ethereum, when that happened, maybe Ethereum would have died right then and there because people would have been like, you know what? I'm just going to mess with this other chain.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So we did do a poll, and this thing is split 50-50. Can Fantom make a comeback? 50% no, 49% yes. That's out of 182 votes.
I agree with that number. If you were to ask me, if I were to put a percentage on the likelihood of Fantom coming back, I would say 50-50. But now, just like I was saying, there's other projects in that same market cap that I think have a way better chance than 50-50, right? That have, I would say, an 80-90% likelihood of 3 to 20xing their market cap in the next bull run. I cannot confidently say the same thing about Fantom.
Okay. For me, I take a look at Uniswap about a year and a half ago. They had to raise money. And this is a project that's been around for years, been around through multiple bear markets, and they had to raise money, right? I didn't look too deep into what they needed the money for. I'm assuming part of it was operations, marketing, whatever the case may be. And like I mentioned before I even went into the article, liquidity is drying up. So borrowing money is becoming more expensive. On top of that, you have the largest bank, Silicon Valley Bank, which a lot of these VCs were getting their money from to fund these crypto projects. That thing is gone. You have the Federal Reserve continuing, the Federal Reserve, the Treasury Department, the OCC, they all come out. And they did it after PayPal launched their stablecoin. They did another memo. Anyone dealing with the digital asset space, be careful, there's risk, blah, blah, blah. And we're seeing the same thing continuing to happen. So that money is drying up. So for projects that are not buttoned down, that don't have a war chest of money, can they survive? Not just Fantom. Can they survive? What if this bear market drags out another 2 years? What if we get a macro black swan event that just completely tanks the economy and takes crypto down with it? And it's another 2 years, 3 years before we see a bull market. If you don't think that's possible, you're crazy. Anything is possible. So that is my biggest worry. Fantom was great. It's fast. It's scalable. It's pretty user-friendly. DeFi was a big part of what they're doing. But in my opinion, for me at least, it's a little too risky when you have other projects out there that are doing similar things. So take that what you take with that. Do with that information as you will. Now, I do want to give one final shout out to channel sponsor CAMS, Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, guys, go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Also, we got a new website, SinCityCrypto.io. Make sure to go check that out. We will be adding we'll be adding a page for the NFT XLV convention. We are going to be doing some giveaways. We are an exhibitor there. We're extremely excited. So we're going to give away some free tickets. We're going to hang out with you guys. Also, go hang out at the merch store, buy some merch. Don't be cheap. Speaking of cheap, how's Larry?
He's good. You know, he has a TikTok now.
cheap
He's got a
how's Larry?
TikTok now, right?
I know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah?
So if Larry's TikTok blows up, is he part of the business or what?
No, that's personal monetization. There.
Wow, okay.
It's
Thanks.
I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put it for his college.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, perfect.
Flash.
Makes sense.
let me see if I can find Larry's TikTok here. You guys want to see it?
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah.
So it's like Quaker Larry, I think it is. Let me see.
Okay.
My Quaker Oats.
The one,
I love oatmeal.
the one I'm watching is not. That wasn't Larry.
Oh, there he is. He's got 5 followers. Let's see if we can boost my boy's account up
You
here.
just said he was blown up.
I started it like 3 days ago. So you got
It's cool,
Robin,
though.
I don't have a lot of free time. Also, Robin, let me make a TikTok for Larry.
There's a little splash bath time there, and then
It's actually very cute. I like it.
yeah, so
Birds are funny, man.
that's my boy. So Quaker Larry at Quaker Larry, go check him.
Guys,
check
go
my boy
follow
out.
Larry. I swear to God, if Larry gets more followers than we do, I'm gonna be pissed. Oh man! All right,
There's me and Larry having lunch there. So you know,
you turn the poor
look.
bird
Every
into a
time we have
cannibal.
cheese and crackers, he never eats the cracker. He always goes for the cheese. Like, and it's his natural diet is to eat like carbohydrates, but he
Yeah.
wants that dairy.
Yeah, and apparently he likes chicken. Now, guys, with that being said, big thank you to Magic Internet Money. Rocco, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an absolute blast. Come back tomorrow for a special Forest Friday. We'll be talking more crypto, and we'll be giving you more giggles on behalf of all of us here at CC Crypto. We love you guys. Until tomorrow. Peace.
Crypto. Everybody know what we here for. Entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in. For big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.